Staying in contact. I'm London Mitchell. Each week, we take a few minutes to examine an issue in our community and introduce individuals working to address those issues. And a growing issue for our community, as well as the entire nation, is the growing number of scams associated with the horrific wildfires in Southern California. You know, it can make us sick to our stomachs to think of the bad guys using the wildfires to their advantage to scam trusting and charitable individuals out of their money. We are in contact today with Lane Montz, president of the Better Business Bureau of Northwest Ohio.
What's going on out there for the people that are affected, who've lost their homes, not just their homes, but their neighborhoods? It's one thing it's a tragedy if you lose your home, right? But you still got the lot, you still got the neighborhood, you rebuild it, right? In this situation, no one really knows what's going to happen or how long it's going to take, with whole neighborhoods being wiped out. And it is heartbreaking to see it. Most of those people are well off, but that doesn't change the fact that they've lost everything and raised their kids or built a life there. That's really tough to see. So, your prayers go out, our prayers go out to all those people that are affected out there. Not just the ones that lost their homes, but the ones that are affected or in fear of losing their homes, who've lost a life that they've built, a style of living out there. And that's hard. That's got to be hard for anybody. So, of course, to make it worse, and in any bad time, you see looters, and I see people out there maybe trying to start more fires, if you can believe that. I saw some of that on the news, and that's terrible. And that's going to be the immediate aftermath, because physical looters are always the first immediate aftermath of a tragedy. But there's going to be a secondary aftermath, and it's probably starting up right now. We do see some indications of it. And that is the online scammers that are going to create false crowdfunding pages, and they're going to create false QR codes and other links to try to get people to donate to the causes out there, and really you're going to be putting money in the pockets of organized criminals. So that is a secondary, or maybe even a third tragedy, a third wave of tragedy, and that one's likely to last some time because people are generous and they want to help.
Of course they want to help, and let's start off really by talking about the people who are the objects of the scammers. We don't want anybody to leave our discussion thinking we're calling them stupid or ignorant for falling a victim to a scammer. These guys are well rehearsed. They're probably among the best persuasive communicators all over.
Yeah, so like the street scammer that could do the 3-card Monte, he's pretty good at his game, right? And he's pretty persuasive. And the today's scammers are definitely that is the case. And while they might prefer to target certain demographics, London, they're going to take anybody's money. And if you were to somehow get a marketing report of all the people that fall prey to these scams, you would see that it runs the gamut from old to young, and everything in between, every station of life. They use urgency. They tug at your heartstrings. And then they make it easy to steal your money because they make it easy for you to look like you're contributing, right? And all good business practices, but they're using the force for evil, right? They're not using the force for good. So no one should. There is an emotional toll to find out you've been scammed. It's almost as hard as the financial toll. It can be devastating for people, but no one should feel stupid, because the scams are very convincing. And with the continuous improvement of technology, including AI, they are getting better and better. They're pretty smooth marketing campaigns. So no one should feel like a less than a person or a lesser person if they happen to fall prey, because
we all want to help. We all want to pitch in, because this is a tremendous tragedy. What are some of the red flags that we should be watching for to determine whether or not the charity is legit?
Well, if I had to only give one piece of advice, and I don't, I can give several, but if I had to give one, the main one is don't respond to a solicitation to give, right? If you want to give, do some thinking, do your own, take your own initiative, talk to friends, research on the internet carefully, and vet who you want to give to. So if you get a solicitation across your phone, don't respond to that. Same with your email, even a phone call. If those are real causes and they're worthy causes and they happen to be using that form of communication, fine. They're still going to be around. When you hang up the phone, press the close button on your email or don't respond to the text, they're still there. If they're legitimate, they're there, and you can go ahead and research that particular charity on your own using your own due diligence, maybe even talking to friends, right? The Bible says there's wisdom in the multitude of counsel, right? Use it if you have friends and family as a sounding board. And that legitimate charity will still be around. They'll still take your money a different way. No problems. If you feel pressured, though, then that's a big red flag. So if somehow you feel yourself with an emotional and physiological urge to respond, man, I better do this now. They really need my help. That's a big red flag, London. And so, just pause it, get rid of them, get them off the phone, say, it sounds good. I'm going to do my own investigation. And if it looks legitimate, I'll make my contribution a different way, but thank you for calling. And move on and do your own thing. Also, I would just say, Fred's charitable causes, no slur on the name Fred, but Fred's charitable causes or Fred's fire relief may not be the best way, even if he is legitimate, which I would question, but if he is, that may not be the best organization to give to. If you stick to the tried and true names like Red Cross and others, if you go to the Wise Giving Alliance website, wga.org, you can search pre-vetted charities. The WGA is the Wise Giving Alliance. They're a sister organization to the BBB. They will have pre-vetted large regional charities that can handle such efforts. You really have to have an infrastructure and boots on the ground already before the tragedy hits in order to really put those dollars to use. So I do applaud people who are moved in the moment to create a crowdfunding page to help people. I get it, and I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm just saying if people are giving money, particularly personal information, credit card numbers, large sums of money, probably best to stick to existing charities that already had a presence in the area before the tragedy. That way your money is going to go the farthest.
Lane Montz is the president of the Better Business Bureau of Northwest Ohio. I'm London Mitchell, and we are talking about ways to help us prevent being scammed by bogus charities in the wake of those horrific wildfires in the Los Angeles area.
The bigger the tragedy, the more organized crime scammers will attack it and try to get your money. So this is one that I think is worthy of sounding the alarm ahead of time. I'd rather see people be warned ahead of time than lose money.
Be very, very careful if someone is reaching out for you, either by email or phone call.
Legitimate charities do use those same marketing tactics. They do have text campaigns. Some of them are powered by AI now. They are ways to engage with members that donate and potential donors. And so that it's not like that method in and of itself is wrong or illegitimate. I'm just saying that is primarily the way that scammers also scam people. And so what I'm saying is, whether it's legitimate solicitation or not, don't use that method to respond and donate the money. So you get a text about a way to provide help to people out there, and it may be legitimate, right? What I'm saying is don't click the link and respond in kind. Instead, use that as a prompt to go to the internet and search yourself, go to the Wise Giving Alliance's page, make sure that charity has been vetted. And then if it has, then you can go ahead and you can proactively contact them and make the donation. Just don't click the link is what I'm saying. If there's a link in an email, if they want you to scan a QR code, please do not scan a QR code. There's a very good chance they're infiltrating your phone if you scan that QR code. That's the newest, freshest tool to gain access to computers and phones, is to scan a QR code. So it can prompt your generosity, and it can be legitimate. Just don't use their method to part with your money.
If you think you've been scammed, what steps should you take?
Well, you contact your bank. You may not. If you did it voluntarily, hit links and logged in, and you may not get your money back. The banks may consider that a voluntary transaction. So if somebody steals money from your bank account, that's different. The bank will help you with that for sure. But if you part with the money, like if you use Venmo or Zelle or Cash App to send money, what we call peer-to-peer payment systems, probably should have mentioned that in the red flags question. If they ask you to pay with prepaid gift cards, you're not going to get that money back. You're not going to get that money back. So if the other secondary risk here is that you part with personal information that can be used later. You may not even know it for a while, and there's really nothing you're going to be able to do about it, because you may not even know about it for a while till it's sold to an information broker on the dark web. So a lot of times, if you part with that money voluntarily, even though you were tricked, there's really no remedy. That's why an ounce of prevention really truly is worth a pound of cure here.
We all want to trust our fellow man, but we have to be on the alert. We just have to be cautious and careful.
Well, Americans are the most generous country, and I got to tell you, I think the Midwest is, our openness. We have a little bit of an innocence about us here in the Midwest. I hope we never lose that. I think we're probably the most generous area of the country. We may not have the most wealth compared to like Miami, Florida, New York, LA, of course, but I think we're most likely to reach out and help. And I look at my area, 24 counties in Ohio and Michigan, and I know that those are generous people because I've lived here my whole life, right? I've gone to college here. I grew up in Findlay. So I know people will want to help, and I just don't want to see anybody in my constituency lose their money to a scam.
And the number for the Better Business Bureau, if people want to contact you?
419-578-6000.
All right.
You might have to go through a few little prompts to get the right person to talk to, but we answer the phones all week.
Lane, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. Valuable information and insight.
Yeah, thank you, and take care.
And you can also reach the Better Business Bureau online at bbb.org. I want to thank my guest, Lane Montz, president of the Better Business Bureau of Northwest Ohio. That's our program for this week. I'm London Mitchell. Please join us again next week as we continue staying in contact.
Previous installments of Staying in Contact with London Mitchell are available on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, the Stream 419 app, and londonmitchell.news.